Hello, my name is Kim and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. Today I am going to be speaking a little bit more about my book blanket. So I got the idea online from a couple of creatives. I will pop their names below this and hopefully I'll be able to find a video or a post or something summarising it. But to put it simply, I will be crocheting a granny square for every book that I read or audiobook I listen to throughout the year of 2025. So I'm going to base the colours of the granny square on the front covers of all of the books that I read. So for example, a book like this, I would probably go for white and then rainbow. So as part of this challenge, I am going to be using up yarn from my stash as much as I can. I ripped back a blanket that I had bought secondhand from someone that used hand-dyed yarns. So I've taken these apart and they are all in a bag now. And there are so many different colours. I think that this will hopefully be relatively easy to get some colours for each of the covers of the books. So far this year I have already finished 5 books and 2 audiobooks, so 7 in total. So I've got 7 granny squares to catch up on really. So the first thing I'm going to do is to pick out colours for each of the covers. I think I'm going to go for 2 colours each and alternate these so that I've got, for example, black, white, black, white, black, white. I don't know yet how many rounds of the granny squares I'm going to do. I've never made granny squares with fingering weight yarn. My plan is to use as much of the yarn as I can. So hopefully if I can finish 2 of these balls per square, that will be great. Although I know that that might not be likely. Also, if the granny squares turn out to be very, very small, it may be that I use 3 colours per book. But again, because I haven't made any granny squares yet, I don't know how many rounds it's going to be. So what I'm going to do, as I said, is pick out 2 colours per book cover now, and then I will make my first practice square so that I can see how many rounds looks good, how much yarn I use for each one, and just to check that I've got enough yarn for each of the covers. So as I said, I've got this yarn here, which will be good. I have also got scrap yarn in various bags, so there's some of this that is a lot bigger. I've got sort of 10 gram skeins, I've got little bits of yarn, so just really a kind of using my stash project. This will be a really good way of tracking obviously all of the books I read as well, because I am really keen to get through a lot of my library at the moment. So I have got a lot of books that need to be read, and yeah, this is a good way of making sure that I keep in the habit of it. I don't know if I've said this earlier in the video, but I'm also planning on not buying any yarn for it. I don't yet know how I am going to attach all of the granny squares together. It may be that I have to buy a plain skein just so that it looks good. The original poster made a blanket out of it, hence the name Book Blanket. However, I don't think that I will have enough yarn to make a blanket with. It will probably be a little bit closer to maybe a scarf or a cushion cover. Maybe I can make a cushion cover to read with so that I can support my back a little bit more. But we will see. that is something that I will obviously come back to in December. Hopefully I continue with this project and that I continue reading at the rate that I am currently reading at, so that I can get lots and lots of squares made. But yes, in terms of what it will become, I'm not too fussy. It is obviously controlled by how many books that I read. So that's not something I will know yet. It depends on many factors, such as the time I have, obviously the days that I'm at work, other projects I've got going on, holidays, etc. So yes. So I am going to show you what books I have read and the colours that I've got to go with them. So I have just put them together now. I just wanted to show you. Some of them were really difficult to make the decision because there's a lot of colours that look similar. I have tried to go for one semi-solid colour and one that's variegated, so that there is some sort of, so that they're not too busy really. So I'll show you what I've come up with. So this is a book that I didn't show, but this is what I'm currently working on. So I've got a black semi-solid and a red variegated. The Mr. Borland book, got one that's sort of blue and grey, one that's sort of a dusty orange and a black colour to sort of match his shirt and the fire and the background as well. Reasons to Stay Alive, this was probably one of the easiest, so I got a cream or a white colour and then this sort of white and rainbow colour as well. For Choose Your Own Death, I'm still a little bit undecided, so I'm definitely having the red, but I can't make a decision whether to have the sort of variegated green or the blacks and the whites to match the skulls. I think I might go with the green. Lost Boy was fairly easy as well. Again, I've got sort of a white glittery colour and a variegated forest green. The Midnight Library, I got a dark blue and a variegated colour, so blue, green, red and yellow to match the graphics on the library. For Genesis, I've got a dark red colour and a light grey, light blue colour as well, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. And the last one is Fallen. Couldn't make my mind up between the yellow, which matches it almost perfectly, in this one, but I think, looking at it again, I'm going to go with the yellow. I think it will match more as a granny square. And that one can be saved for another day. So those are the ones I've gone with. I'm going to take some pictures and then start crocheting up. So I made a mistake. I was meant to start with the book that I started reading this year, but instead I picked up the colours and started with the book that I'm currently reading. So that's not great, because obviously I wanted to start chronologically so that I would literally finish the square as I'm finishing the book, if that makes sense. So technically I haven't, well, not technically, I haven't finished this book, so I shouldn't have made the square, but I didn't think about it until I'd already done sort of 2 or 3 rounds. So obviously this is the square that I started with. I had the 2 colours for it, and I thought I would just keep going until I ran out of yarn. So I continued going until all of the yarn was finished. You can see that I lost yarn chicken here, so I'm going to pull that back. So I really like the colours, to be honest. I think it does represent the book. I'm really looking forward to doing the rest of them as well, because yeah, I'm just really interested to see how they finish up. I know what a granny square looks like, obviously, but to see them together, it will be really nice. So this is the finished granny square. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. And I have started, I don't know if this is something that I will continue with, but I have started with the variegating yarn in the middle, and then sort of it just so happens that the final round is the solid colour, which I quite like, to be honest. So one negative thing slightly, and I'm sure that there's a better way of doing it, but I have all of these yarn tails at the end. Now I know that there is a way to sort of chain 3 and then continue with the next round, but I casted off the yarn at every round, because I wanted to make sure that the granny square would be stretchy and that there wouldn't be any issues with stretch, really. And obviously if you chain 3, it can only stretch so far. So obviously this, oh, I've missed a stitch right at the beginning. There's one there that only has 2 double crochets, but I'm not that fast. I'm not fast enough to unpick the whole thing. So yes, I will be sewing in all of these ends as I go. It won't be too difficult. I've obviously done it before. I just need to, yeah, sew them in. So yes, all I need to do now is to sew in all of the ends of this granny square. I am going to block them, and my mother-in-law helpfully gave me a granny square blocker, so I am probably going to pop them on there for now, and then once I finish the books that I've read, I will then have a blocking party where I block all of them together, just so that I can see them all together and so that they are organised. In terms of the yarn that I've used, where are my scales? So in terms of the yarn that I've used for this granny square, the granny square weighs 4 grams and the leftover yarn weighs 2 grams. That is also including the paper that I've popped them on. So this is what I've got left, not a whole lot. This isn't enough to make another granny square out of, so what I will probably do is start making a magic ball, but I will probably, if I can, try and put them in order. Maybe I can make the border out of it, or yeah, a border out of them sounds quite nice. So my plan for now is just thinking about it. I would probably quite like to outline these squares in white, because that would represent books for me. So all of them will have a white border, then they will be crocheted together. They will either be a cushion or maybe even a scarf or something similar, depending, as I said, on how many I get done. And what I could do with the spare yarn, I could make a magic ball out of it going in chronological order, so starting obviously with the book that I finished first and working my way down. And then I could make maybe a granny square border with it and line it in, sort of have a white border, then the magic ball, then another white one to sort of wrap it up. I don't know. That would be quite a nice way to use all the yarn, to be honest. So I don't think that I'll be finishing all of the granny squares in this video, but if I do, I shall obviously get some footage. Just to add as well, I have been using a 2.5 hook, and I don't know exactly how long it is. It's approximately 3.5 inches. That is before blocking as well. One of the other reasons that I'm really keen to get this project started and sort of finished is because a lot of the books that I have read, not all of them, but a lot of the books I have read, I am very keen to sell on Vinted, but I want to get pictures of all of them to show the covers and the squares, and so that I can track it. And so I can't do that until I finish the granny squares, so yes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this has been an interesting process so far. I'm really excited to continue the process, and I would love it if some of you would either share pictures of your own book blankets that you are doing, or share ideas, or follow along this journey, because as I said, it's a year-long journey that will get through my stash and will encourage me to read quite a lot as well, and it looks really cute so far. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care. Feel free to subscribe if this is something you're interested in. Thank you. Bye.